beautiful people, how are you doing today? I mean, I'm super excited. Why am I excited? And that's because of the love that you showed, to us for our maiden edition of this particular show, FLUX360. Thank you. And, we saw the post, the repost, the likes and all. Thank you so much. If you have not seen the very first edition we did of FLUX360, please go down and watch it. Yes, I think the last edition we talked about love, marriage, and the myths around it. You definitely are going to love it. Yes, this is FLUX360, and what we do right here is talk about everything that pertains to life. Any issue that I want to talk about, we try to go in depth and have all angles, and that's why we don't do this alone. We're bringing guests and try to have your own opinions, views, and perspectives. My name is Evelyn Ohiola. You can simply call me Kingy. And you know that I am not alone. Of course, my co-anchor is here. Heritage, how are you doing today?
I'm good, and you?
I'm alive and well. I mean,
You look beautiful.
thank you.
You're blushing, right? Yeah, you need
Fire,
to.
the smoke, the smoke. How's it been for you?
I've been good. Not bad.
Oh,
Yeah. Life been good as in goodie.
okay. And you have been you. Exactly. Okay, we have guests in the studios this beautiful day. Let me start with the one that is close to my collar. Yes, we've been biased or impartial, whatever it is you want to call it. I have with me Peter Ayobami. Okay, he likes the Ayobami to come before the Peters. So Ayobami Peters, who is a girl child advocate. How are you doing today?
I'm amazing. Nice to meet you, Evelyn. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Hello. Wait, what are you called? What are you called? Okay, how's
No, I love the lie. I believe it's gonna flow.
It's gonna pick up.
Yeah.
You have to start good and you do a fine views.
All right, and of course we have the man in black, who is black himself, black and yellow, and he sits on the yellow chair.
I'm proud of my confession.
Nobody's saying you are not proud. Which was with the defense?
I should be.
So why do you have to introduce him first?
You started with someone that was close to
You
you.
brag.
Come on.
I told you I want to be biased. I want to be partial, so it's fine.
You are being biased and partial. Oh, let's
She for one day or two.
Of course, it's the amazing Pnorth. And Pnorth is a chef and he talks for a living too.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me.
This one he's really humble right now because this one, yeah, it's a big man. It's a very big man.
Please.
I'm not talking in size. Yes, in size is a big man. Well,
It's just the size.
even in pockets, it's a big man. All right, so let's just get right into it. So then we're going to be talking about the culture of silence in our society and how much impact it has made, in our country, Nigeria. As a people, we're people that we take respect so seriously, and where in this part of the world, when a child stays silent is also a sign of respect to the elderly. I mean, you don't talk when your elders are speaking. You don't talk until you're called to speak. You don't interject when an elder is speaking, even if you're having a conversation. We grew up with that, especially the millennials. We grew up with that, and it's become a culture with us. But there are a new generation that is saying, please scrap that. What's that? All that is BS. What's the culture of silence? Please. And these ones are trying to change the norm and saying that, see, we are not going to be quiet. We're not going to be silent. If we have something we want to say, we're going to speak it. We don't care whose ox is God. We are just going to say it as it is, whether you like it or not. Let me start with Pnorth now, so it doesn't say I'm being biased. Alpha, you see now, I'm coming to you now.
I'm okay, no worry. It's fine.
So, cultural silence for you. Let's take it with, when you grew up. Because I know you're a millennial now. I believe you're Gen Z.
I can say
You're Gen Z.
but I'm a millennial.
I'm also saying it down, yeah. Because you know be my mates. You know be my mates. You're Gen Z?
I'm a millennial.
Ah.
There's the body. Gen Z by heart.
Who is this one? So talk to us, how was it for you growing up in in an African home? a typical African and this whole culture of silence?
Using that, for someone like me that grew up with his grandparents, it was worse. The culture. We've been trained with the culture. This is how you do in this culture. You don't do this in this culture. This culture does not accept this. I'm Yoruba,
Okay.
and in Yoruba land, you have to go straight. When you want to greet the elderly, if you try to pick, if you posture as if you're picking something from the floor, they will tell you, who are you picking agbado for? I don't understand.
Okay.
Come on, prostrate. And then you have to greet everyone in the gathering of your parents.
Mhm.
You have to, it's just a lot of things. So, that kind of training which you have while growing up actually has caused a lot of silence for our age group. You can't voice yourself. This is the same generation that put all their attention to girls and leave the boys out of the training. Then we have boys that are old and grown-ups that see life as, this is what life is expected of me. This is what life is expected of me. If a man tries to voice out, they will say he's a coward. If he's too emotional, they call him a simp. Different things, because this is the generation that place too much expectations on young people while growing up, and it is a really setback. It is a setback for our generation when it comes to governance, when it comes to socio-economic processes. It's just crazy. Been a very crazy thing while growing up. So if I should use my own background to judge the uh government priorities of what is going on right now, I would say that the change might not, I don't want to say cannot, because nothing is possible. So I would say that our generation might not be the one that actually causes the change to happen. That's be the coming one, the ones that can stand up to us. Imagine you telling me, Jersey, I'm talking to you, I'm not your mate. Tell you, and use the age to collect money now. Those generation are just the outspoken one. We just want peace. That is it. Because we were brought up with kilo coin. What's your problem? Do you have to do this? You have to pull your mouth. You have to connote this. You have to do. So it's actually a very crazy era for us while growing up. So I think, let me just rest my points here first. Let's
It's not a debate. So you're resting.
let me rest these points first. I don't want to. It's something that is painful. At the same time, is a cause for awareness for us. So
Okay. So yeah, he's a girl child advocate, and all of the things you said there, in this short period of time, is pointing to the fact that you are a boy child advocate. Like you're taking care of the girls. So what happens to these guys that you guys are not, talking about? So let's move on to
Yeah, thank you, Evelyn. I think our fathers and mothers spoke so much, and they didn't leave anything for us to say. So you have Generation X, you want that KD for us, and they were, from a Nigerian perspective, I won't take it from you, global, from a Nigerian perspective, they were the one who fought for independence, they were the one who fought for this, and they suffered so much because they spoke so much.
okay.
And that's not the background to get record. And then, so they gave it to us, the millennial, and they're like, guy, I suffered, though I fought Biafra war. I know what happened. Keep your mouth shut, doesn't concern you. You've got to be alive to be able to do, we've got to have a generation that can prolong our days. We've got to have, so you understand that they were quite protective of us. So the culture of silence was not because they loved themselves so much, it's because they feel they loved us so much and they didn't want us to face what they face. For people like us that I don't want to say I grew up in a dysfunctional home. So I grew up with my dad without my mom. And so I tend to understand that I didn't have to say so much because my dad was going to be the one to look out for me. Do you understand? He's going to be the one to tell me, I need to go to school, I need to get grades for school, I need to look into my books, he wants me to be great. but does not want me to be seen. He wants to be the one who is showing up for me. So I learned at a very young age that I didn't have to struggle for anything.
Okay.
I didn't have to fight to have what I want, because our own fathers, the Generation X, felt they suffered so much
For talking too much.
for talking too much. They didn't want us to suffer. So they feel they are invested so much in the nation, they have done too much. So they just want us to reap the fruits of what they have labored for.
Okay, so what you're saying now is they suffered so much because they spoke. Now they gave us that culture of silence, not to speak. You understand? You should be seen and not heard, so that we don't suffer like they suffer. So are you saying this culture of silence started with us?
Yeah. Okay, so if you look at this from like I said, from a Nigerian perspective, you cannot take it from a global perspective, from a Nigerian perspective. You will see that, okay, let me give a very good example. Someone like General Gowon, for example, was not yet 30. I think it was about 30 years when he became the president of Nigeria. And you can look at his circle. Everyone in his circle were around that age.
Okay. Yeah.
So take a right guess from that generation to our own generation. How many people would you see in power that are at that age right now? Even from 1990 now. So the idea, yes, is just one perspective to say they suffered so much for talking. They wanted us to enjoy the benefit of what they have fought for because they spoke. And the first attitude, or the force, or the reaction of a parent for their generation is to protect their own offspring. So when they are saying you don't have to speak, yes, there's a cultural aspect to it, but there is also a productive, a consequence aspect to it, because this is where we are coming from. The Biafran War was about that in 4 years, 66 to 70, and then you have 70 to 80. Millennials started from 81, 82, thereabout. So those generations saw, I want to use word hell. They saw a lot.
So fire.
They saw fire. They saw fat. I see my dad telling me, saying, see, I don't want you to experience the things that I experience. I don't know if you have that experience. I don't know if you see your grandma telling you that. Saying, see, I saw hell. I almost joined the army. I almost went to the war front. I almost did this. I don't want you to go through that. You want to just go to school, get an education, be whatever you want to be, and take care of your younger ones and take care of me. Do you understand what I'm saying? So the culture of silence, yes, from a tradition perspective, is not a 100% African tradition.
Okay.
It's there is a between respect and silence. If you look at the Yoruba culture, the Yoruba history, you will see that there's, just like you have a parliament, for example, the king is not the all-knowing, he's not the all-powerful. There's a parliament, a council of chiefs that consult with him on what to do. There is this culture of deliberation. There is this culture of taking action. So I would not completely say that the silence is an 100% cultural thing.
Okay.
I think from our millennial, from a Nigerian perspective, it is a consequence. Consequence meaning that, okay, so this is what happened to the Generation X. Generation Y, they go here, don't go through it. You don't have to fight for everything. You can actually build. And then the mistake we all made was to then went back into our comfort zone and say, oh, this is nice. This is a good place for me. Go and look at many of us who are millennials now. Many people are riding on the glory of their fathers. We can begin to look at it one by one. But like he said, the Gen Zs are saying, guys, I'm going to chart my own path. I had to force myself to, for example, go to University of London. My dad wanted me to go to University of Lagos. One way street between here and my mom. I didn't want to come to University, but the way my friends are, where I can come and jive. I said, okay, fine. If you're not going to have it your way or my way, I'll go somewhere else that people don't have. And that takes somebody who is not conforming to the stereotype.
All right. Okay, I think most of the things you guys talked about is because of the things that happened in the past. And for the Gen Z, I would say why they have to speak up majorly is because the digital world, you get to see people talk about this. I'm like, I can do this also. That was what empowered most of the Gen Z. I'm like, oh, they are not outspoken, oh, they are this. But I feel if our forefathers, if there was this digital era during this period, they would have spoken up. So they were actually propelled to be silent because they feel, if I should talk, will anybody back me up? And the whole Biafra, every July is watching a bands that they've all seen. Then that was why they were just like cool. But right now, one of the main reasons why the Gen Z, why they're outspoken right now, is because of the digital era we have right now. Because if our forefathers, if they had this digital era right now, they would speak up. It's not because of I don't think it's because of the Biafra war. They feel, oh, if I should talk, who's going to talk? And the old Shege Baza that they've all seen back there, they feel nobody's going to support me. They rather just die in silence. But right now, the Gen Z, the social media is doing a lot of justice to things. And that's why they feel like, oh, Gen Z get outspoken. You guys can do this and this. It is because of what they had empowered them. That was why they were able to talk like that. Do you grab? That's what I think. But apart from that, even growing up, I still feel there's still a lot of people right now that they still feel, oh, I don't need to talk about some things. I still need to just be silent and let me just overlook and ignore because I feel okay. Like now, there are some people on social media who feel like, oh, if I say this thing, they will drag me at home. Like like so, like now there's certain things I feel like I can't host because I'll look at where I'm coming from. I look at where I'm going. So like, no, I can't do this. I can't do what you're doing. So it's still me being silent in some aspect of my life and me respecting myself. So that's just one thing I think about the difference between our forefathers, just the digital era. That was what changed the whole aspect of the Gen Z, from my opinion.
I don't know if I can, I don't know if I can chime in maybe. So our generation in millennia, we are the quiet ones. The Gen X were not quiet.
No, they were not.
They were not quiet.
Yeah.
Our fathers were not quiet. We are the quiet ones.
Why were you guys quiet?
Exactly. I felt okay. So it is stereotype. I think I'm more like Pnorth to say something. Yeah. So
You see, we all haven't touched a particular topic, which is history. One of the major reasons that have actually caused this silence to grow, which has made it golden, in the past, is because we are touching the aspect of history.
exactly.
There are other things, other roots of this silence. Why are we silent? Number one is fear.
Mm-hmm.
There is the fear of hungry. There is fear of politicking.
Exactly.
There
This
is,
we don't have it in this era right now.
we still do. I'm saying the problem, the reason why millennials, we are still the one reigning right now because they are the older ones. Gen Zs are facing tech. What's their own problem with? He just wants to make money in dollars and bottom life. And they are not even, sometimes, I can say about 50% of them are not bothered about our economy because they're making money in dollars.
Exactly.
They want to chop life. They are outside. Some of them are even traveling out of the country. I can still say that there are about 40% of millennials that are still in this country that have never driven a car in their life and will never even drive a car because our generation have been suppressed with fear from our parents. They spoke out, but they put the fear in us. Not your money to show. Jaja politician. A lot of don't. My parents, they spoke. They don't want us to speak. Now, let's now bring it to the issue of oppression. Oppression is a tool that has been used by the rich to press the millennial. I don't want to use millennial. Let me use mekono. Let me follow your word. Because, if I should use an English word, it won't quite explain the
So what is there are people that are listening and they don't understand the word mekulu. So interpret it.
mekono is just the masses, people that are below average.
Okay.
Yeah. So let me just say there's oppression from the rich. You know that the politics it favors the rich. That is awesome.
Yeah.
If politics favor the rich. So there is oppression. You can't arrest someone that has money and the guy that doesn't have money now and say both of them should be inside the cell and to be locked up. I don't think the rich guy is going to stay up to a few hours. Now that guy is going to spend the night. It's just simple. A phone call from the rich just to say, "But my release, am I worried? I would come and sort the whole issue. It's not about money now. It's about connection, eating influence. Yeah, sometimes they can be okay. Let me just grease your palm, but most of the time it's just the influence. This person that locked this person up knows that one day in the future I'm going to need the help of this rich man. Let me just, not worry, just go. That means you hold me. You don't have to say. Then there is the issue of education. in our educational system, this thing has also been put into it. Do you notice that in this present age and time, there are times that things that this Gen Zs grew up with that were changed from the syllabus?
Yeah.
What we grew up with is different from what these people are growing up with. They're teaching them civic education, they know their right, they know each. How many times did they teach us?
She thought also study.
We know it's just study.
It's education.
Yes, it was there, but it wasn't really evidence for us to see. And they were blinded with all these jargons. I don't want to use.
And I like the fact that you guys took the conversation from literally from 0 to 100, because I love the way you guys actually streamlined it to governance and politics, and how the government tried to suppress people.
Government is a tool, and then there is religion.
That I will just come in there, because when you talk about the culture of silence, it's not just only in politics or governance. It's even in the home. You understand? It's just the same way. You're a girl child advocate, and many times you see girls that probably they have been harassed or abused, and they can't talk because they fear what their parents will do to them, or they fear if they have the right to speak against this person that did this to me. Do you understand? So you see a lot of girls during the who are millennials, right? That when they were growing up, you see them, they could not speak, they could not talk, even when they were abused. Sometimes we are abused by their uncles, sometimes they are even their fathers, but they could not talk because they feel, if I now say something now, will my mommy believe? Even some that even had the guts to speak out were silent. They're like, if I say, mommy, so and so person touched me inappropriately or touched me somewhere, shut up. Do you know what you are saying? How can you say that against uncle this thing?
To destroy the entire family.
Exactly.
Do you understand? So that was what snowballed into the society, the larger society, where we can't even speak against people that lead us when they are doing the wrong things. And we feel, so before years, I told you, I told Lord, do you understand? And there's this culture of what will be would be. Do you understand? They will tell you for him to be there. Oh no, oh no, oh no, no. If girl says I will not be there, there's this God factor.
Religion, covered a lot of things we should not be.
Now, sorry, please. Evelyn, there is this line in the movie Odyssey. Odyssey, very lovely line. And what Odyssey said was, God will not do for a man. He said a God, because it's a Greek mythology. He said a God will not do for a man what a man should do for himself. Really? He said, scripture, God will not do for you. So God has willed the word. I'm going to put it back on what Jesus said. God has willed the word to man. So this is FLUX360. Imagine that you have a partner that you maybe lease a part of your building to. But you lease that part of the building to that partner has the rights to that space for the time of the lease. You cannot go into that space to do any repair, to do any stuff without getting the permission of that person you have leased to. That's how God has to man. He has given the word to man. It's up to you, man, to invite God into what you want to do. Or to say, God is not going to do jack. He has done everything he needs to do. Now, when Heritage said the word, the Gen Zs as technology and all of this stuff, as a girl child advocate, I have seen girls come to me and talk to me. Why did they have confidence to talk to me and not talk to their father and mother? They are not millennials. They are Gen Zs. So they are different strata of the community that determine how quiet it should be.
Yes.
And how voluminous it should be. Now, I'm not going to go that 30 days ranch you're talking about. I have a different perspective about it. But I was telling my I also talk to young people as well. I speak to young people. I was saying that this generation, what are we going to tell people that we did? What are we going to say? This is what we did for you to enjoy. Especially in Nigeria, what am I going to say to the young people coming after me that this is the impact that I made so that you can come and enjoy it? Like the Gen X did. They fought for democracy. They fought for independence. They fought for this and that and that. And then weakened it and enjoyed some of those benefits.
Are you wait? No.
Yeah, we are. No, I'm going there. No, I'm going. No. I know that you got keep your thought and say, did we enjoy? Yes.
Because it's like they built and they destroyed.
Yeah, no. You can. It's your perspective.
Are you sure?
Yes, it's open for us to talk about.
Okay, continue.
I believe that there was a pedestal laid for us.
Okay.
Yes, they built, but because they kept us in that silent mode, one way or the other they destroyed. Because the capacity of the millennia was not developed enough to build on what was started. Now, what am I trying to say out of this about going back and forth about technology and all of that? I said before, the generation X were not quiet. They didn't have technology. I was to look at it from that. They didn't have technology. They were not quiet. They were very vocal.
True.
Very vocal. There was no technology. Sure, before you had to use stand quiet. And one maybe took me a lot of story about how they had to use stand quiet during the war. How they had to do this. So they didn't have technology, but they were very vocal and they were able to rally themselves. When there is a will, there's going to be a way.
Yeah.
So yeah, when you said they destroyed it, yeah, they didn't destroy it intentionally. The extra love that they showed to us is a pathway to dysfunction. Because if you want something to be sustained, you've got to teach the generation coming after you to build on it. Then therefore, when we talk about governance, I want to say that the people who are in government, they didn't come from Ghana or from USA. I'm using Nigeria as a public. They're Nigerians.
Yeah.
The societal norms help them to develop the mindset that they have. They were once a child, they were once a toddler, they were once a youth, they went to university in the same society that we all are. So that means that the society brings forth the leaders. So if we don't go back to the roots, the functional, the most functional, the lowest functional unit of society, which is the family, to begin to change the mindset, we will keep having the same kind of leaders. We have so many of us who have been millennials, who have been leaders in several positions. What was the outcome? I don't start mentioning names now.
Mention it.
No, I don't want to.
Are you scared?
I'm not scared. I don't want to go home quietly and continue my girl child advocacy.
No, you don't need to stay on the fence.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm not telling you to see that we didn't do nothing as a millennial.
It is already if it's saying that silence. You don't want to talk.
I will talk, but don't worry. If I am born, if I had followed the stereotype of peace signing, I won't be a girl child advocate. Let me give you a good example. In 2020, there was coronavirus.
Yes.
And we're on lockdown. And everybody was on Twitter. And everybody was shouting and shouting and shouting and shouting. For the first time, we were talking. Because we know, and people are talking are millennials. It's one thing to talk, it's one thing to produce results from your talk. We're talking on Twitter, but daily income earners were perishing because you don't go out to come make money. After that, you know about the ad talk. After the ad talk, an hashtag action talk on Twitter. And Twitter hashtag, we call it stop talking. People are talking. Nobody is taking any action.
Everybody has something to say.
But there's no action. You are doing 30 days rants now. What is going to be the outcome of the 30 days rants? So on Twitter, we started the Act Talking Part community and people jump on it. And we're able to feed over 3,000 daily income earners across Nigeria. How many young millennials can see that? So when we say that, boss, I want to talk about, because I'm a Christian, so I don't sit any further about what I believe. And I lead to Pastor Peace a lot. I love that man. And what that he always says that, yes, right, yes, you have been born a poor guy. You have been told to keep quiet. So now you're grown. I understand that being quiet is wrong. What are you doing about it? Why are you still quiet? So they told her, yes, we are told to keep quiet. Boss, you grew up now. You found that this quietness will do. Why didn't you stand up? Why didn't you do something about it? Governance. I want to play under saying this. Governance is not the reason why we are where we are. Do I like the government? Freaking no. I don't like them. Do I think that Nigeria can be better? 100% yes, Nigeria can be better. Can we have better leaders? Yes. But you see, the buck starts with the young people. Nigeria has the largest youth demography in the world. So it means that we are the one that decide who leads Nigeria. So if you're saying that the government is bad, we are bad because we chose those people.
Did we?
Yes, we chose them because they went to the polls. Your result says that this person has the highest number of votes.
Are you sure?
There's no evidence anywhere in the world that there was INEC results.
80% of that youth demography said
Said what?
Peter Obi is their president.
They said they did back it up with action. That's what we're saying.
I know who I voted for.
I know who I voted for. I'm saying
Is here the present president?
exactly myself.
I'm not going to be biased about.
Does that mean that you know who you voted for and it's not the present president? You know who you voted for and probably it's not the present president. Does that mean that another person did not vote for Mr. President?
Now you're talking. Let me give you an example. A lot of people don't understand that there is a cult. I talk for sooner. I want to talk.
Probably.
A lot of people don't understand that there's a demographic separation to Nigeria.
Mm.
I am a Yoruba person married to an Akwa Ibom woman.
Sorry.
I am 1 in 1,000 Yoruba men who will do that.
Are you?
Yes.
I married the Calabar.
Yes. But
Nice.
that's why we are both here.
Do you know that?
I'm saying that during I don't know. I want to keep quiet, but I just during the elections, I was in Ibadan. I lived in Ibadan for 16 years, and I came back to it in 2021, and 2 years later we have the elections. And let me give you this: there are 2 ways of voting. But I have been involved in developing corporations. You know, I developed those folks. I've gone into the internet. I know how the people in the internet speak. You spoke about education the other time. One of the reasons why millennials are where we are right now is that look at the literacy level of the millennials.
It's too much. And they are the frogs. Most of them. They are
The literacy level is high. So what I'm trying to say is that education of the mind is one thing. Education of the paper is another. There are many guys who have gone to the university but are still illiterate. So in the millennials, there's so much. So I want to talk about what you're talking about, the election that happened and why with the young people were. In you, I was speaking to a guy who was an Uber driver. I was driving from home, from church, and I was going to one and said, this is the Nigerian election coming up. And I think that a lot of us, many of us, I was in one politics, and we're in one party. We wanted somebody who was erudite, who was good, who was nice. They didn't give that person. And all of us drove in droves, went somewhere else. And then Peter became very popular. And they were talking about, why not this guy? The guy said, I'm a Yoruba man. I don't think I'm going to vote for an Igbo man for my president. I did a research on that. 7 out of 10 Yoruba guys said you're not going to vote for an Igbo guy.
Just because easy.
Easy. Not because they're so confident.
No, I think it's because it's not because it's in Nigeria. It is because I grew up with a family that says, Igbo le rule one country. We are still going back to what our parents have said in the past. See, you said that this still has to the change has to happen from families. I would disagree with that.
Okay.
I feel change should start from churches.
Yeah,
Do you know why? Because the church in Nigeria in this day has a lot of influence on the society. But we have a lot of misconception about a lot of things. For example, a church that's supposed to tell you that this is what you should take and do for yourself. The church will say, the Lord God Almighty does not allow it. But if you check another part of the scripture, you will see another part that's going to back or go against
what's the business?
The Bible is 2 ways.
Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
How many times do you get to church in a week?
Almost every time.
Every Sunday, right?
So
Okay, if you say that the families are not the ones to be blame, right? The church, right? If you should go to church once in a week, but you're with your family every day,
do you
so
know?
why do you put that aside?
Yeah, I'm not putting it aside.
So that should be the main foundation.
You know that.
It's the family that's going to bring the people to church.
Okay, now let me bring you back to the days of when we were younger.
Okay.
When we follow our parents to church, the parents will tell you, do this, don't do this, do this, give us money to drop offering. Scale of the problem. Did you drop that offering?
Sometimes.
See, the problem is not about just family. I'm not saying the family does not have a part to play. I'm saying that everything they teach you in your house, like when you get to church, your pastor is going to climb the pulpit and tell you otherwise.
Okay.
Otherwise, the opposite. The
So different from what
completely
I did.
different. Because your parents.
I feel like it's because
And then your father will not get home that day.
And
tell
change you.
And say,
not even
over party pastor church, you don't know.
exactly.
I'll be like, even in the so we pastor is so high.
But
there's a lot of influence. I don't know.
So you're saying the religious setting has a strong and
That was before.
Another part of it
Not
is
now.
another part he said is Christians. He said he's a Christian. Do you know that a lot of Christians are now sitting on the fence because they feel like, I don't know why, if they feel Christianity and politics does not go, maybe it's a sin. I don't know. But a lot of them are sitting on the fence. So recently I saw a post about people attacking the redemption, Redeemed Christian Church of God, the pastors being in politics. And I'm like, who else should not be in politics? If other people cannot do it, let them do it.
Yeah.
I for one, like the fact that Emir Shibaju was in the presidency. It was my favorite part of it. Yes, he didn't speak much. I don't think he's someone that speaks a lot. But the point is, this man acts. I have seen firsthand what he did while he left the presidency. When I was even at the presidency. But he might not have influence because majority of the chambers that he's presiding over are corrupted. So what do you expect him to do? He doesn't take one person, it takes a lot of
The church has a role. The family has a role. And I'm going to get there. See, the church.
which has a bigger role?
See, the family has the bigger one. I will tell you why.
Okay.
You see, why do you think that the Bible says that the head of a church, I don't want to turn this a church thing, but it's all the Christians, I'll use what I know. I'm not a Muslim. It says the head of a church should be a man of bottom work. If you have a wife, if you cannot win your family, man, you can't win anybody else. See, the church still builds on the family. I know that the church has influence, but if you listen very well, even to the teachings of Christ, it still borders on starting with the family.
That's why even the creation
The creation started with family.
Sorry, family.
Yes.
I'm not against the fact that the family
Church has a role.
but I'm saying that the head of the family is the man. The whole family attends the church. Your teaching is based on the teaching of that pastor. So I'm still saying the church
You don't think what the
has
church-
the larger influence of that family.
The role of you're a married man, right? You're a married man, right? Okay, you attend the church. I don't know the denomination of the church, wherever it is, but you attend the church. Now, imagine your pastor said something about family, you think it's all right. You can filter it and be able to dissect and say, okay,
But
this
not
and this.
everybody.
No, that is why there's a new
Everything.
era.
I get to understand where
No,
Pnorth
that's
is
why
coming
there's a
from.
new era. You
When
don't
we're
judge.
growing up,
you
when
don't
we're growing
need
up,
to judge
ours
like
was
that.
different.
You take
My
whatever the
generation.
pastor
Yes,
says,
we
hook, line,
take
and
it.
sinker.
No, when we were younger.
Yeah.
No, let me quickly
That
help
was
you out.
then. We can't keep stating on the
Let me help you an
The
example.
past is the
Then we need to start taking the action now.
if you want to start taking that action right now, then millennials have to talk.
They are start talking
What
to
what is it? No.
Because if we still keep lingering,
Yes,
back,
which is the
nothing is
first-
going to be changed. You will just keep shouting
know,
and
okay,
nothing.
let me give you an instance. Let me give you an
I
instance.
think I was part of.
Let me give you an instance. Presently, I had an issue with one of the pastor of my church, and it was more like I can't remember what I did, and then the next thing I saw was your suspension for working out on the leadership. I was like, I can't even remember me working out, but it's fine. What is my punishment? Do you understand? I don't want to start saying, no, what do you think I did? Blah, blah, blah. What is my punishment? After serving the punishment, then I went back. Now, I'm serving that punishment because I kept quiet at first. That is respect. So it won't be like they said I walked out, then I am being so I accepted the punishment. Then afterwards, I went back and we started talking about what happened. And I was like, sir, number one, you all know that my cars were faulty for a while. So we've been finding other means to get to church. That's number one. Number two, I told you before you started the meeting, I said, please excuse me. But you were talking with Mr. So. When I left, I can't remember walking out. He said he was calling me.
I didn't care.
I didn't-
Yeah, but why didn't you call me and tell me what I did instead of you going and drop it on this and say you're under, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, this is what we are talking about, abuse of power.
No, wait.
know,
It was fun. Everybody knows I laugh a lot.
Yeah.
And I just laughed and
Talked
said,
about it.
Baba, abuse of
Now-
power. I'm sitting there.
Wait.
Okay.
You were silent, right? And you knew that, okay, you did not work out on this
Because
point.
millennials are respectful.
Okay, there's a thin line between you being rude and you being firm. You knew within yourself that you did not think. There's a part you can
Yeah, that was right.
demonstrate.
But
Exactly.
there is a word.
Then you can communicate.
You know what? I
without
think we
not
should. I think we should dwell on this a bit, and let's draw that line.
Mm-hmm.
You can see, for generation, for millennials, yeah,
Generation, right.
like you said, it's obey first.
Mhm.
Before
Obey
complain.
Exactly. That is what
Obey
we do.
first.
I think that was what.
If
That's
you
not
disobey,
what they have
now
done.
conversation.
If you
As I said,
disobey,
I did the conversation after.
Then what the mistake should have been, you could communicate it, even do a suspension. I'm not Gen Z.
Yeah,
but
but
it's true.
You know that.
No, but
know that.
it's true. You could
have that
It will lead a lot of
conversation.
No, but the
altercations.
question is that we keep talking about we are millennials, this is how we grew up. You were born a millennial. Time is changing.
Exactly.
We're no longer in the era where we were born. Okay, so now I want you to understand that the church, okay, so I'm a leader in church.
Okay.
No, I am too.
And you are. Simon knows my history. Even if I call her sister, we are both in church. She knows my history. Let me tell you this. The government of the church is different from the corporate role.
Oh, it's the craziest
Yeah.
one.
Why would you say that?
No, Philo,
You don't want to be in church politics.
My guess,
Just
let me
don't-
say,
don't-
let me do
don't
this.
want
to be.
Let me do this. As a leader in church, you are in the army. You only obey the last order.
There.
And it's not only to millennials, my brother, even to Gen Zs. So let's not bring the church into that conversation. Now let's come to our day-to-day life,
Okay.
the corporate world. When you come into leadership, you have two roles to play. You first of all be a follower, and then you become a leader.
Sure.
Now, the first question you ask yourself is that when I was a follower, what did I do?
Mhm.
How did I learn?
Yeah.
What did I do? See, now see though, anything you sow, you go collect.
That's true.
And that is not about silence or no silence. It's about to Gen Z, so to Gen X, so to Gen Beta or Alpha. Oh. This is karma.
Yeah.
Now, so what I'm saying is that the conversation about keeping quiet for the millennials, or Gade, we don't keep quiet now. We never die. Nobody here is over 70. No millennial is over 70 years. You can't be more than 40 something. So it means that when they born you, you are quiet. You don't quiet 18, 19, 20, 30. You don't almost reach 40. You don't clock 40. Oh, guys, you see the quiet. You know we so now.
Exactly.
What I'm saying is that the times has changed. And now, when you ask, say, oh, it's a culture of silence. Oga, it's no longer culture. It's culture of inaction.
Okay. So we are no longer in that
See,
era
the
where
culture of silence.
people are now talking.
People are talking.
Everywhere. Now we have entered into the culture of
But now,
inaction.
the talking is now over talk. There is no talk and do. And that was why we started the Acting Talking Part community when we started in 2020. Stop talking. Do something. So millennials, yes, we do talk. Yes, we know. But now that our younger ones don't dey talk, technology don't come. We say was just join the show and guide them. Because the truth is that if you go, even on this talking issue that Gen Zs are talking, what are they saying?
Yeah.
Someone might be talking and he might not be speaking. Look,
Communicate.
yeah, how to use the way they say it in that balance. So you might be talking, but you're not speaking. When you're not speaking, I can hear you. I can understand you. I don't freaking get what you're saying. I'm not there. So there's a lot of things on the internet and everyone is talking. When we finish this 30-day rant now, we go, well, something will bring one funny program. Everybody,
Okay, don't drop now. So everybody don't calm down.
yeah, can't really see it.
There is just misplaced clarity.
So now I want to just really put it in perspective. You know, looking at the culture of silence. Silence is golden in some cases, and yeah, silence is golden in some cases. I'll give you an example. And I'm sorry I'm going to use this example. Growing up before I joined First University, for example, I had no questions. I've seen a lot of pastors say a lot of things about other pastors. And you see that other pastor says nothing.
Right.
He's not a millennial, he's a Gen X. But he didn't say nothing, he didn't say a word. He's not going to go on the internet or on newspaper and say, I want to counter what I said. He says nothing. There you go, 10 years down the line. You're seeing that the one who is saying this, who was wrong has gotten his karma. The one who has kept quiet has gone. Do you know that sometimes negative information about you that you refuse to talk about gives you more popularity?
Sometimes, not
Some-
always.
Yeah, but as it's some kind of views the kind of person you are, eventually, and then I've seen it firsthand. If I hadn't countered that particular thing that I had, it probably would have affected me financially. So I had to be smart about it. So I heard about this and I heard that you stopped it. Yes, I did. This not true. Peace. Because there are some people that want to lay your financial progress on your integrity, which is very, very. So this is you. This is your integrity, and this is your honesty.
Yeah.
The work and the,
There's the one they call delay gratification. Have you heard the word before?
Yeah.
One of the challenges that we had as millennials as well is that we were, like I said before, we were under the push of impressing our Gen X fathers.
Yeah.
Yep.
More like the living for that.
exactly. So your partner wants you to be a lawyer.
Exactly.
Just jump into it and become a lawyer.
So most
That's what you want to be.
most times we refuse to delay gratification. Sometimes I make some money. I'm like, my dad wants me that I'm a big bar. I've gone to university. I'm out. I made some money. Let me send something to him. What if I put that money in an investment or something and it grows? So I'm saying that the culture of delaying gratification again, it didn't teach us that. Now, just talk about your scenario or something. Someone said something online, for example, and you needed to, and you said, and it can because financially. If it was about your integrity, for example, because you're a businessman, that would be fine. I will not counter if it's financial. If it's going to be bordering on my corporate identity. You look at, I have several corporate faces, for example. If someone touched one of my corporate identity, I won't say a word. You're just going to get the lawyer. For you,
Nigeria.
I tell somebody,
Nigeria do not put on
yeah,
this
no, you see,
if you're not still a country, even a debt,
let me
you have to
okay,
go for a press
I was
conference
talking
and
to somebody
address it.
one day. I said, I'm a judge advocate.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people come out and say this person did this to me when I was 13 or 14. And yeah, the culture then was not really favorable to that kind of thing. But I said, boss, it is not media house you go to. Your first point of place to go is law enforcement.
Is it effective?
What will that person get out of it?
You see,
How are law enforcement?
yeah, you see, the truth is that we always think that that there are no laws and there are no processes. If you don't try, you will know. But at least take that step. Go to law enforcement. Oga, that presenter no go help you carry the case go court. Forget the story they talk.
That's what we just talk.
They go talk am. Oga, go to law enforcement for make the details say this thing happen. Then you cannot go and meet and now make note about it. Because law enforcement, you see, one day, one person who is pious will come and see that file and say, I want it.
That was if they can find the file.
You know problem, see. But the thing that you don't want to
Basic, all these things you're saying law. Do you see? I have seen it firsthand, and they could not find the file.
I've experienced it more than you could. I've done this for girls who are in it. I'm not saying that it is rubber stamped. I'm saying that the truth is you're not going to put the cat before the horse.
Yeah.
You must do the right thing. Let them not do the right thing. You just go there. You have, see, in this world, okay, let me give an example. I was talking to somebody. People make a lot of naive and investments. Somebody just came and said, you're my friend. I want you to invest in my business so that I can give you this kind of return. Okay, fine. Where is your SLA? Where is your service level agreement? Then just even know what an SLA is. Can you just have like an agreement that you take to the court? It takes 500 naira to do a stamped agreement. But because he is your friend, that's another thing that millennials used to do. We don't let due process. It's not right.
I think I fell victim of that recently. Yeah, I had a business with a friend, and over time there were changes in the agreements that just kept coming up and coming up. One day I just said, okay, you know what? I'm done. If you leaving this enterprise, I'm done. Because when we were talking about having it documented, I said, I trust you. I was like, okay, no, because
They'll feel you're going to the extreme when you start.
but then he trusted me at some point. Everything went smooth and fine. But now me no can't trust him, like, because he went the other way around. He started boycotting me and all that. I'm like, okay, I trusted you because of my friend, but if this is not going to work, that is why I did not put my 100% to it, because I don't trust humans. I just said, okay, you know what? Let me just leave this thing for you. Just do your thing. I didn't lose any money. Just I'm done. That's the main thing.
Well, do you think about the emotional and the psychological stress when I've got your mental health? See, this is that you have lost the
Problem I
friend.
really have. I know I didn't lose the friend.
No, you see, you think it is
Nobias.
my brother. If you have done an agreement,
Do you know that it is a different thing when a lady and a guy are friends, and when the guy, oh yeah, sure. This is a guy thing. One thing that we just know for sure is who will our come.
Exactly.
because
So what
band everything.
their band?
Even people that have businesses together, money will always cause the problem, because money is the root of all evil. That's number one.
Love of
Excess love of money, excess love of money. But now let's now digress that into let's leave friendship matter now. Let's divide into mental instability. You know that people don't want to do a lot of things, because if I start now, see, I don't like headache. If I should say, okay, let me advocate for people, let me start listening. The Gen Zs have the right things. They know what is right, what is wrong, because those people are well outspoken, evolved, they are outside, they are just everywhere, because they have the right thing, but they don't have the right tools.
Okay.
We do. But the problem is we just want to start very well. I know if only we can just direct them the right path. But the problem the right tools is number one, wisdom. Those people know, not all of them has the wisdom.
You know why?
You know why?
Because
You winning something. You're already winning. You have the point. You're winning. Then one small thing you don't win now. If it could be, maybe they will just find sex scam or scandal on you, and then because they live recklessly. There's always a mistake that you would do. You would rarely find the people that we grew up, because the training worked. It's not like it didn't work. It's just that he overworked.
I want us to do more. Let's now talk on, this culture. I love the fact that Ayobami says that, it's no longer the culture of silence, it's now the culture of inaction. Although some people say there were times we actually put action. We there were times we actually brought in action and we did less of it. Talk about the 2020 era where people had the protests, a lot of people were doing stuff. But still, they'll tell you what came out of it. They still silenced us, keep using lyrics. That is work being a doctor. You understand? They will tell you the people that died then, they will think Nigeria don't fit. So they never know, so you never reach anywhere. You get
that's what we already had, actually.
It's not just you know that it's not just presently. 2020 people died, yes, but people have been dying year in year out. I don't even know about. They speak out. They try to do more, and then by the time you know it, maybe they died in
Now
the
let's talk about
lots of things.
Let's talk about how you think that we can actually balance these things. Because some people, they believe it's all about talk. I talk and talk. They are not backing it up with action.
Social critics.
Do you understand? Go on the internet, you see them. Someone once said that opinion is like a butthole.
Oh yeah.
Everyone's got one.
Oh yeah.
You turn up your data and everyone is talking from all corners of the world on different issues, and you're like, and in fact, that was why I feel that the world today, or the society we find ourselves today, is too crowded. Not crowded per se in human, like the number of people. It's too you have a lot of things coming into your head that you can't even process quarter of it. Sometimes I just turn off. Like, I don't want to go on the internet, but because of the kind of job that I do, you have to be there. You have to feed on all of the bad news, the terrible news, whether you like it or not. Do you understand? But I want us to balance it. How do we balance these things? How do we actually make a very sweet salad when we talk and also do? Right now, as Nigerians, as young Nigerians, what do you think that we are not doing right when it comes to talking? And what do you think we're not doing right when it comes to putting in the action?
Let me go first. That got me thinking a lot about where we were coming from, and now we got to where we are. And I've said this at the beginning. We are parts of the process that got us to where we are, whether we want to agree or not.
The process of the problem.
Both the process and the problem, they were part of it.
Yeah.
As millennials, Gen Zs, they are just, what do they know?
I don't know. Why are you now removing them from
You
the
know
equation?
why? Because that generation is actually unbothered.
You
But you don't.
We are not going against the
Wait,
fact
you
that they
don't
are
think-
the
I'm going to get here. I'm going to
that
get here.
they are part
when
of the
you
problem.
actually get the right tools to do something, and then at a particular point, something you do just ruin everything you started from the beginning.
You didn't ever true. You didn't claim you have wisdom and all of that.
No, I don't claim I have.
No, you
Listen,
said what your generation. What their generation said is that.
What generation said is that they have wisdom, right? And the Gen Z, they are smart, right? But the fact that they are smart, they are using their smartness very well in every
problems.
to solve problems,
Yeah.
and even doing a lot of things that we never thought of it. Imagine doing the this foreign exchange of jotex and like with your wisdom. What have you done?
Do you know that all those things that I mentioned, we started then, they just grew on them.
What were you doing?
Forex has started before Gen Z's.
Did you guys loud it?
Technology. You guys
Technology
can
became
boost it.
advanced
And
in
yeah, and
the
you
era.
Are you guys engaged? It's like no. It's all like an information being kept because you feel like I know man, I want to get it. But for Gen Z,
I mentioned
they
fear.
spread it.
Who won't die?
I believe for every generation there was a technological
Exactly.
advancement.
Yes.
Okay, so
So that's-
for example, when I was in university, when I was in my first degree research, we have to go to a cyber cafe.
Exactly. And by
I did my
time.
research.
And buy time.
Now, let me tell
By
you,
1 hour.
see, I buy 1 hour time.
Yeah.
Well, because I was okay, I don't want to sound braggadocious because I tend to learn the computer very fast. My dad was a computer scientist, so we had computer in the house. So I understand how to use the computer than 95% of the people in my class. So at night, the people who like to go at night, so the guy will give you 1 hour for the whole night.
Yeah.
I know that we're not heading to run the cafe for the whole night. So anyone that comes, I know that we're having to be a research, do everything, and I was making extra bucks from it, the money from it.
But you don't teach anybody. Did you?
Oh yes. I taught a lot of my colleagues. Most of my colleagues became very savvy with the computer during the time we were doing our final year.
But you believe that millennials they all information.
No, millennials don't all the information. Millennials don't really know how to impact information. There are two different things. The question is not because there is no will, it's because there is no competence. We're not taught how to impact. Have you ever seen a teacher that is a millennial before? It's rote learning. Only few teachers know how to do systematic learning. Nigerian curriculum is rote learning. Akosori, Agberu-Gbeso. Even you do Agberu-Gbeso, you cram the whole thing, give lecturer. When you enter class, you forget. And the same thing, teachers, they were going to start teaching the Gen Zs that time too, the same thing. British curriculum like our.
Why you talking with the Gen Zs?
Yes, the Gen Zs now, because the curriculum now became big metamorphose.
Yeah.
No, because it's a tree.
Yes. I'm not saying them. I'm not saying them. The curriculum became a bit metamorphosed.
Maybe because I have a lot of people around me that
I
are
like
Gen Z and I
Gen Zs.
understand them very
I
well.
work with Gen Zs. See, like now, I love teenagers a lot. They're never Gen Zs. They are Gen what else? Yeah. So I love teenagers. Now, I would love the one that are just coming after me.
Yeah.
I'm saying that the people, our own generation don't know how to impact. The competence for impacting was not embedded in us because the education curriculum did not teach us that. I will show you how. When you go to class, A for apple, B for ball. Where is the B in the ball? Where is the C in the cat? The sound is K. It's not C. It's K. Hat, cat. It's not C-A-T, cat. So do you understand what I'm trying to say? But that's what we're taught. Rote learning. Just tell them, see, they will not harm and
Dare not ask.
and you dare not harm.
Dare not question.
So I'm saying that the competence for impacting knowledge wasn't there. But technology also played a role.
Exactly.
So but like I said before, let's forget about where we were. Back to your question. How do we balance the silence and then the action? Very simple. If you live in as more as in a community, and there are challenges in that community, do you want to raise an advocacy for that? Do you want to bring yourself? Okay, let me be big. I like to use that as an example. When I got into Ibadan, the first place I lived was my father's house, somewhere on the outskirts of Ibadan. Because I was coming from Abuja that I got married, and then and when I got to that environment, the roads were so bad, there was no power, and I was like, what is happening here? I cannot be in darkness. What do I do? I rallied the people in my father's house, so I'm like the landlord in that place. I rallied the landlord together. I said, could we do some stuff and just when it's raining, can we just make this place better? And we worked on it. We went to Nepal and said, okay, why don't you give us adequate power supply? Okay, say you guys don't pay your bills, so we have to purchase this. We have to not doing advocacy. I said, okay, how much is your bill? People started paying their bills. If you go out there right now, the light is good. As simple as that. That does not require government. That does not that's not government role. That is, I'm saying, wherever you are, the little you can start from there, and then you can now begin to have bigger dreams in terms of how do I change the world. My brother, sorry, you never will change your car. If you enter your street now, they go say, oh God, you need to do anything for here. But you will come on air and go and rant that the government is bad. But in your own little closet community, what impact have you made? I want to round up by this. I saw a set of girls in 2020. I like girls in 2021, and they were playing hockey inside Loyola. And I just went in there and I said, oh, we can't keep playing okay. Okay, fine. I'm going to help you guys become better. And I started putting them on hockey. And now those guys have gone international. In short, they have to go and register. Don't use their names. They don't use the name to register. Register with their name. They have gone to there. Those guys, one of them was going after boys. We just go with one boy today. Hockey has changed their life. And we push Christ to them as well. Like I said, I'm a Christian. Hockey changed their life. Christ changed their life. The guy has someone's investing now. I didn't have to go to Tinubu to do that. I had to do it in my. So can we begin to act in our own small capacity?
Exactly.
We can start acting in our own small capacity, but let's not forget that this is Nigeria. And we cannot just use English. And say,
It's not about
it's not English. So I'm just trying to bring the fact that it's not about advocacy. Yeah, it's about advocacy. Influence people in your community is actually a very good start.
Yeah.
But let's not forget that you are in Nigeria. In Nigeria, people want to ask you a question. What do I gain from it?
Yeah,
sure. That is why we have more of illiterates. And then
what's in it
to you? How do you influence illiterates? You have to tell them, maybe you give them food. Or I'm not worried, when we are there, we shall buy you touch. Oh, by the way, by the time you go there, somebody offers them something, please, I'm welcome. They will, yeah. What I actually would say that can balance this thing is youth empowerment. The problem is we have a lot of wealthy people in this country that have their businesses that is going down to train, but they can empower the youth to do this, to do this. If there is a maximum amount of youth empowerment, I think it is going to go a long way than just sitting on the sidelines that is just shouting. If there is an empowered group of people saying this person is behind us, nothing you can do, because they believe that the first thing any protest or anything that has been done in the past needs is money, placards, etc., etc. But we've not realized that even when you start a protest or do placards and all that, there are some people that they would be paid to come and do the same thing and go against you, protest against your protest.
That's the mindset.
I was just about to ask him.
Because
the
that's
government
why I said some people will be paid better than you.
But
because you don't have anything to offer them.
But you know the funniest about why Gen Zs can't confront to that is because now they've actually seen the light. Okay, now you said I've been supporting Gen Z.
Gen Z will use technology. That is the only
Exactly.
They don't need the government for anything.
Exactly.
They don't need the government. They are a government of themselves, and they are empowered enough.
I don't think that's selfish.
No, it's not selfish.
Because
It's not
calm down. Because one thing I know about, it's not a fight. Now we're making it look like it's a fight.
Well, no fight. There's no fight.
It's not a
It's a collabo. No collabo now.
What it says, when you say, Gen Zs, they have the information, they have the technology, and they have the know-how to use this information for their own advancement. And a whole lot of them do not care. They don't care what's happening in the country. They can talk about it. They can speak about it. They can advocate for it. Do you understand? But when it comes to us backing up those words with action.
Evelyn, the Gen Zs are not the one advocating.
What does that?
The people who doesn't know they talk, I see the advocate. Now we see the advocate now.
But the justice do.
No, let me come. Advocacy is different from talking. Advocacy is action and talking back by action. But let me tell you what Gen Zs does. Gen Zs come on air. They have technology, they have social media. Or then go governor one year, go action or as like what they go to one Lamu Estate.
Yeah.
They will raise an awareness concerning the ineptitude of the leader. Okay, so what do we do? They don't know. But a millennial, almost all the advocacy girls that I know are held by millennials. Almost. Go and look at it. What the Gen Zs are, when it comes to Gen Zs are learning work when it comes to advocacy. Gen Zs don't care.
But they are impacting.
Yeah, eh?
But they
They are impacting. Now, let me tell you what.
Just influence.
Let me tell you what.
That's
Yeah,
the
no,
word.
it's
That's the word. You can't say you're influencer.
Let me, I'm on your
Yeah,
side.
yeah.
Let me say on your side.
As much as
Let me
you're
hear people other
influencer,
females.
other people.
No, that's what I mean.
No.
See, let me see. Gen Zs know what they want.
Yeah.
What do we want? We want to be financially free. We want to be heard. We want to be involved. And you know how to get it. Technology don't have they matter. They go on social media, they say whatever they want to say, and then they have, like you said, they have the influence on social media. Before you know it,
And they're making money from it.
okay, I was going to get there. So all this is saying, yeah, we are allowing. My God, there's the financial certificate me at the end.
Hey guys, I know you get actually omitting the fact that they have actually enlightened a lot of things. In a sense that I'm going to use myself as a perfect example. I'm a very quiet person, like very, very quiet. And so I took a lot of courses, like more than 10 certificates. I had a little bit, but I wasn't really effectively using it. And there's this girl on social media, just so a day fair, like, this girl's just 24 and she's making over 10 million. There's people like Productive Video making over $10,000. They are doing a whole lot of things. These are ladies that they are doing it remotely in the comfort of their house. They are out there saying it to people, giving them step by step on how they can achieve this thing. These are the things that millionaires will not do. And imagine me having my money, having my things going on right. I really don't care about whatever you guys are doing.
Everything so we are
Hey,
seeing.
because this
No,
is cool.
no,
Okay.
but they are talking as if they are out of the country. I don't understand.
They are not. They are not really out. My brother, because they don't want my sister. They are creating their own nation.
If you
Yeah.
make the money and you are still in Nigeria
Yeah.
and we are still in the mess we are in Nigeria.
It's also for you to make more money, for you to make more
So
money,
if you
for you
make
to
all
make
the
more
money here and you don't have a working system,
Yes.
working government,
Did you
then how
see-
do we move forward as a nation?
Did you see this?
That's being selfish.
We all said no, it's not about being selfish.
This is
selfish.
trend.
How are you selfish about
This is this
sharing
trending topic
knowledge?
recently that a guy, a Nigerian outside the country that wanted to pay Nigerian dollars for a particular project. Then he calculated the money and he said, "Do you
Yeah,
use it
I
for
saw
7
it.
million naira?"
I
I
saw
said, "Someone is too much for
For
Nigeria.
Nigerian.
I'd rather go to India
And you
pay
pay
more.
them.
You know, he would actually pay more for them
No,
because
you see, let me tell you
then
something.
I realized something. What I realized was Nigerians, we want the best. We want the luxury.
The power of
We want
rules depends,
no,
but it's
no,
just
no.
what it's just what the people overseas what they think about Nigerians. If you're working remotely,
The person I'm
in
talking
Nigeria,
about that said this thing is in Nigeria.
Yes.
Now listen.
if you're
we
working
want-
remotely in Nigeria,
we want
they don't
luxury.
pay you
We
well.
want the good things, but we don't want our neighbors to have it.
Yeah.
It's just the same as somebody wants to speak out for us. You advocate for them. Then I have called you 10 a.m. Let's go somewhere and let's go to the court of law and do this and do that.
No go show.
They won't show up.
They no go show.
You say, "Hey, I mean, Nicola, for the go do on your own now. You're welcome. Do your own." So if you say you want to advocate, you want to call for action, you want to do this, who are the people that would come up
Peanuts.
showing up?
Peanuts. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you this. As long as we
You
are.
know the Jesse will not show up.
No, forget Gen Zs. They don't have time.
No, they will show up for the optics.
For the
They will
optics.
show up
When
for
there
the
is
optics.
no,
Why
for
would
DJ.
Gen Z
And there's
do
no
that?
crowd.
No,
Yeah, let me
no.
example.
Gen
When-
Z will
wait,
show up
wait,
and they wear
Hey,
peach spread.
when Mubad,
They
come
go
back,
all
pass
okay, when they wear
When
designer.
pass for example.
Okay.
And
You want
then-
to protest, you are wearing designer.
Wait.
Dress
I'm
your
not
designer.
So what you're trying to say?
You even carry DJ passport. I'm not saying I'm not against it. I'm just saying there is
no millennial across
If you're saying misplaced power, what did you guys do during your era?
Okay.
Nothing.
Okay.
Who says
We are
nothing?
still in our era.
No,
But you guys are not really.
Okay. Let me just quickly say this.
Okay.
If you don't mind, let me let you know this. YouTube was created by millennials.
Isn't the major social media apps? It's the Facebook is this Facebook. I've been here. You know everything. YouTube. Yeah, you are. I choose you on older. I choose YouTube because
That is where the money is.
Money is everywhere.
it's everywhere.
But YouTube, the real money is on YouTube.
The money is everywhere.
Okay, there's it to know how to use those. We don't want to talk. Like, I don't want to. We are all here together. But then we talk to where I look money.
Okay.
Okay, so the YouTube was created by a millennial.
Okay.
Gen Zs are using it to make money.
Yeah.
What that says to you is that even though the millennials had a long period of silence, they still
Were
are
doing stuff.
able to do stuff with the little resources that
They had.
and that is what's more important to us. Now, bringing it down home and just my own way of being serious right now is that I can assure you that Nigeria, I want to use Nigeria, so you pardon me, I'm a loyal Nigerian. I love this country so much. I don't jump at things, I don't want to go. I'm in Nigeria different.
Okay.
Okay, oh, yes, now. Yes, okay, I don't think you say okay. But the thing is that I have seen and I've seen that there is a lot of gap in capacity for doing. The Nigerian government may act a challenge. Like I said before, I'm not their spokesman. But you see, I told someone one day, I said, I went to a private primary school, I paid school fees. I went to a Lagos State government school, I still paid levy. I went to a federal university, I paid fees. I left university, I created my own job. Government don't give me job. Essentially, the Nigerian government no owe me anything. I myself no owe them anything. What it means is, and I know how many people I've empowered in my life. What I'm trying to say is that, do we have 1,000 of me or 1,000 of peanuts who are entrepreneurs? What are we going to do to raise more entrepreneurs? The US economy, the UK economy is run by the private sector. Are you aware? And those private sector, majority of them are millennials.
You said something that I want to bring. You said your government did not owe you anything. I don't believe.
We are all the systems. I feel like the government owes us and we owe the government on something.
It's supposed to.
So transaction.
I know I pay my tax. I have to be.
If you are as much as you are paying your tax,
See, yeah, this was when I said I don't owe them anything. I'm not saying it literally. It means that I have run my life without the government for a lot. Yes, they make rules. Sometimes the rules are bad. I have to be my own generator to run my business. I'm saying that. Do we have many people who are going to, across board, do things for the nation? Speak about the ineptitude of the government. Show them opportunities so how they can get better. Get involved in politics. But while they are doing all of those, they are acting. I'm saying that. While we are doing all of those talk, you are acting behind the scene and raising people and making the community better.
Yeah, true. Someone like Tunde Anokoya is actually doing that right.
We have to wrap up because we have been talking for a long time. The conversation is so interesting, so we kind of lost track of time. But it's good because it's not just a normal conversation. It's a conversation that is supposed to spark action from the viewers, from the audience, and we hope that with all of what Pnorth and Ayobami Heritage and I have said since the beginning of the show, you've been able to have this thoughts, rethink. You've been able to have this rethink on the Nigerian system, on who you are, what you should do as a citizen, and not just to rant. We know that the old 30 days rant challenge is on, everyone is dropping their piece on the internet. Yes, it's good, it's fine. But what comes after the 30 days rant? Do we just go back to status quo, go back to, what we have been used to and continue our life? And when another thing comes up, we start another challenge, and again, maybe that time it's going to be 30 days,
1 year.
1 year until, yeah. All right, before I wrap up, Pnorth, do you have anything to say to,
Okay, what I would say is that we should take the course for action. That's number one. We should not just leave everything to this 30 days that challenge and all that. If you see someone doing something bad around you, you can correct that, but be subtle about it. Don't be rude about it. Do not do so at the cost of your life or at the cost of anything that is dear to you. That is the major important. But you can always call for correction. That is my own mind.
Okay. I know he has said a lot of things, so I don't want to go back to him because he seems more like a talker. He loves to talk. When you are dealing with youths and teenagers, you should be a talker. So I don't want to go to Ayobami because he's very
Just the answer to your grace. Extend grace. 30 seconds.
okay. Your time starts now.
Now.
Whatever you do, stay alive.
Okay,
Whatever you do,
that one is very important.
stay alive.
Don't let them use your life to settle score.
Go one day, you go better. I know.
Yeah, it's
Stay.
good. I love that. Whatever you do, ensure to stay alive. You're not Messiah. You're not Jesus. You would ever die for anybody. People will die 2020. They talk, say, Nigeria know better. I'm sure if anybody dies now, and they go to me there and say, Nigeria know ever better. You know what we said now? I tell you, I'm gonna be bag of rice. Every time you want to say something, people rap.
Okay, nothing more, but let's just be intentional with our words without we disrespecting anybody, both the millennial and the Gen Z, and we can have a better world, whatever we do, if we're being intentional about it.
All right, that's short and concise, and that's the show for today. Thank you for being a part of our world. FLUX360, is the show, and of course, we're gonna have another edition with another interesting conversation and interesting guests. I'm sure you were wowed by our guests in the house today. Ayobami Peters, who is a girl child advocate and also loves to talk. He also loves to do things about youth. And of course, we have the chef in the house. What's the name of your restaurant? Pnorth. Okay.
Feels pressure, Pnorth.
Meals by Chef Pnorth. Because after the show now, I'm trying to hype him. Because after the show now, they go there, small chops, everything, barbecue. He's going to set that on ground for us. I don't give you free adverts now. They point you where me, me don't give me small shop.
Is that part of the video?
I go cut. I go. First, my name is King Eve, and sure to subscribe, turn on the notification bell so that you can always get alert when we drop any video. Go to our previous edition, watch, like, comment, and share. Until next time.